Hello and welcome to the table, Baldurs Gate and DND friends. Have a seat, grab your favorite drink, and settle in for a unique modded character build and subclass for the modded Mystic class. Now this is a special follow-up video to my original showcase of the Mystic class. In that video, I did showcase the subclass of the Soul Knife, which had a more rogue, stealth, and also sneaky gameplay-esque build. However, this specific build video, we will be creating a more caster-esque type of character with a focus on battlefield control and inspiring our party members through psychic magic. Now, a little bit of housekeeping aside, I am feeling a little bit under the weather right now, hence the reason why my voice is going to be a little bit hoarse in this video too. So my apologies if I'm sounding different from my usual self. Now, with that aside, this episode will be going through all 12 levels of Order of the Avatar, with credits to the mod author, Zevo, for taking the time and effort to bring this class to life. The theme for this build, like I said, is utilizing psychic abilities to gain battlefield advantage through controlling the emotions of your allies and enemies, as well as a little bit of telekinesis. Now, something to note is that this is 100% lore friendly and truly does fit within the realm of D&D and Baldur's Gate. Yes, I do know there's some people out there that will be like very technical about whether this is actually a very like lore accurate class, but it is truly straight from the tabletop. Now, also to quote the mod author themselves, the tenets of Order of the Avatar is as follows: being able to manipulate the emotions of both allies and enemies, supporting your allies with these emotional spells, and crippling your foes with them. Now, for those who are new to the channel, one of my main focuses for videos is creating unique Baldur's Gate 3 characters, utilizing mods both for enhancing gameplay, but also for roleplay, specifically giving you different types of replayability. Now, if that is something you are really into, I would personally love to hear your favorite types of character builds in the comments below. And also, let's get an in-depth discussion going on what characters you would specifically build this class around, what you would specifically multi-class this with, or also other different character build requests too. As a side note, I also have videos of narrative-driven Total War Warhammer campaigns of both modded and non-modded factions to tell unique stories of each of the individual leaders. And if you love talking shop about character builds or epic story-driven war campaigns, consider hitting the like, subscribe, and bell icon notifications for more of those unique adventures. Now, for all the new viewers too who may have stumbled upon this video, the way I want to structure this character build video is going through the starting level with specific choices in race and other beginning features like spells and cantrips, going through levels 2 through 12 solely as the class itself, not multi-classing, and I will explain why in a little bit, and also wrapping up with specific gear and equipment to complement the build in terms of roleplay or improving stats or spells. Now, when it comes to character builds, I do mainly stick with choices and abilities, spells, and equipment that suit characters thematically or keeping in line with the modded class and roleplay wise. However, I will sometimes slip into choosing quote-unquote choices that are definitely on the metagamey or really just going into min-max damage output and essentially like going very strategic, sometimes trying to cheese enemy encounters too. I am aware in the D&D and Baldur's Gate communities, there are players out there that are 100% about utilizing and being as efficient as possible with the damage output. But at the same time, just as long as you yourself are having fun with the builds and playstyles, even if they're not maximizing the highest amount of damage or area of effect control, that's what matters in the end, is just having fun with the build. If it does fit well into your playstyle and damage output, or just for fun roleplay shenanigans. Now, the reason I'm going through all 12 levels only as the class is to truly showcase everything there is to offer, and it's a special way of saying thank you to the mod author. Now, as an added thank you, I will of course leave the link to the mod in the pinned comment below, along with some other mods such as race or spell mods that complement or pair well with this modded class too. We most definitely will be saving separate videos for multi-classing these modded classes together or with base game classes to truly create different types of synergies. Now, side note too, because the Mystic class has so many different types of subclasses, there's going to be boundless amounts of videos of multi-classing the subclasses with subclasses from other modded classes too, and I honestly can't wait for those. If you have any suggestions on what you would like me to pair this with, please let me know in the comments below. I'm already thinking about pairing this specific class, well, general overall class, with the Aberrant Mind Sorceress, which I had a lot of fun creating in a separate video too. Now, without further ado, let's get into the first level of this build. At starting level, the race you'll choose is actually a modded race called the Githzerai, and yes, this is technically a lore-accurate friendly race too. Now, the difference between the Githzerai and their counterparts, the Githyanki, are just really on ideologies too. The Githyanki are more so on the warlike and very angry, edgy, vigilante side of things, while the Githzerai are the more passive, peaceful, well, semi-peaceful monk side of their sub-race too. Now, there's a more in-depth description on the differences of the Githzerai and the Githyanki, and also I'm sure there's D&D aficionados who are watching this that have more in-depth differences, and there is actual conflict between the Githyanki and Githzerai. Please let me know in the comments important specifics about them. I do know the gist of their differences too, but I am a sucker for lore, so if you have any important details on the Githzerai that pertain to this character build, please let me know about them in the comments. I generally do love having in-depth lore discussions. Now, let's get into the actual gameplay features that the Githzerai mod provides us. With Unshackle Mind, open the gates of your inner fortress, drawing the knowledge from your own spiritual intuition while attuning to the psychic energy around you. Gain proficiency in all skills of a chosen ability, and you can hear the thoughts of those around you. Very useful roleplay wise, and also for dialogue choices. We also gain the cantrip of the Mage Hand with Githzerai Psionics. Basically create a spectral hand to help you manipulate the world around you. Base movement speed of 9 meters. Mental discipline. Under the tutelage of monastic masters, Githzerai learn to govern their own minds. Innate psychic defenses give you advantage on saving throws against the effects of being charmed and frightened. Detect thoughts. Read the thoughts of certain creatures while talking to them. Both very useful in dialogue, but also mental discipline, really useful in battle for anyone trying to use psychic abilities on you. So you're proficient in psychic abilities, and you're also anti-psyker as well. Now, with the subclass order of the avatar, this focuses on manipulation, emotion, rallying allies, crippling foes, with the subclass feature being armor proficiency and medium armor and shields. So it's going to be more so of a battle mage as type of character that we'll be creating. Still going to go the full caster route though. And this is going to be represented by our specific cantrips for the Mystic class here. For my choices, I like using Psychic Hammer, dealing 1 to 6 force damage, pushing or pulling a creature 3 meters, and even though it's 3 meters, it still counts as battlefield control, so being able to push them away from you so then you can keep casting and blasting them, or pushing them or pulling them closer to you so then you can stab them with your weapon. Mind Slam, knocking a target prone for 1 to 6 force damage. This provides you a little bit of a getaway plan to get your opponent on the ground, and also get you a chance to run away from them while they're trying to get up. Now, for the class passives, my choice here will be Crown of Despair. Learn to harvest the seeds of despair in a creature's psyche, racking it with self-doubt and inaction. With this, we gain actions of inciting fear, provoking fear in a creature, frightening them for 10 turns, unsettling aura, cloak yourself in unsettling psychic energy, having the movement speed of nearby enemies, creatures are immune to being frightened, are unaffected, and also incite panic, one of the ultimate abilities at early stage level. Sow chaos and up to 8 creatures befuddling them, making it so that they don't have control over their actions and they just wander around. Now, using these actions actually does use up psi points, and also psi points are essentially kind of like sorcery points for this class too. We also gain additional passives with Order of the Avatar, and for the additional passives, I like choosing Crown of Despair, Learning, or Mantle of Courage. Focus your mind on courage, radiating confidence and bravado in your allies. This provides us with Crowned in Sorrow, torment a creature, or incite courage, bestow courage, and up to 6 creatures removing frightened, charm, fear, and sleep conditions. That's a really strong too, like considering that you can pretty much use this on the entire party, or yeah, I mean literally entire party if you have the no party limit mod. Aura of Victory, project an aura that grants you and your allies 2 temporary hit points whenever a nearby enemy is reduced to 0 hit points. Now, that is just a small amount of temporary hit points, but also it's a nice little reward and flavor too. Pillar of Confidence, instill up to 6 creatures with a surge of confidence, granting them an extra action on their next turn. Now, this is very much worth it too, especially going back to the old D&D adage of action economy, being able to get extra actions, which could be extra attacks, extra spells, or even extra healing. Like that can really play well into controlling the battlefield overall. I also like using Mantle of Fear, which grants us Crowned in Sorrow, dealing 1d8 psychic damage, torment a creature with intense sorrow, preventing it from taking reactions. Call to inaction, touch a creature in an attempt to incapacitate it as it takes damage. Visions of Despair, a whopping 3 to 18 damage at early level. Flood a creature with sorrowful visions, reducing movement speed to 0. And Dolorous Mind, overwhelm a creature with anguish, incapacitating it and reducing its movement speed to 0 for 10 turns. Very powerful here, and yeah, like I said, a lot of these abilities are incredibly useful for controlling your enemies, inspiring your allies, but also just bear in mind too that the higher level or the more demanding of them requires more psychic points too, so be sure to manage them in combat too. For the background, I like choosing Entertainer to provide performance and charisma skills to us. And as for the abilities, I like dumping all of my points in intelligence, as that is our main casting modifier. Constitution at a respectable 14, dexterity at 15, and don't worry about these being odd numbers too. Once we get the chance to level up in a feat, we'll choose ability improvement and then add points into each of these to round them out to even numbers too. Wisdom you want to keep at 10, as well as charisma. Strength you'll want to be taking points away from, as we're not going to use too much of it. As for skill proficiencies, we'll gain acrobatics +4, arcana +5 thanks to intelligence, and also proficiency, investigation +5, perception +2, and performance at a respectable +2. At level 2, we gain class features of telepathy, peering into the minds of others, and also mystical recovery. After spending psi points, you can spend a bonus action to regain hit points equal to 1 plus half your mystic level. Very thematic and incredibly useful here too. So yet again, action economy, being able to do any sort of action or have any sort of ability right after performing a combat action is going to be really helpful for you as the battle mage of your party. Also, I gotta admit, the armor and schematics of the build right now, it's looking very fire. At level 3, we gain features of increased side points to 3, a cantrip, which my personal choice to fit the theme and roleplay is Mystic Charm, beguile a humanoid, possibly charming them. This is mainly going to be used for dialogue checks. As for the class passive, I personally would pick Mastery of Force, which provides us different types of force damage spells. Push, which deals 1 to 8 damage of force. Exert a wave of kinetic force, pushing a creature 1.5 meters. Inertial armor, encase yourself in a veil of pure kinetic energy, increasing your base armor class to 14 while not wearing armor. So this can be useful if you want to wear robes or other non-armor pieces, but hey, we're going to be using medium-esque armor. Telekinetic barrier, manifest a wall of pressurized force. Creatures within will be in difficult terrain, providing a lot of battlefield control and also slowing them down for you and the rest of the party to pick them off. Grasp is what I'm really focused on here. Grasp a creature in telekinetic energy, holding them in place. While concentrating on this, you can cast Crush. And also move, dealing 5 to 30 force damage. Telekinetically grab a creature, dealing damage to them and possibly to other creatures they land on. So you literally just go full on dark side mode and throw enemies around the area. We also gain race specific features of Githzerai Psionics of the transmutation spell, project your outward, manifesting various effects, and also shield. When you are about to be hit by an enemy, increase your armor class by 5. Take no damage from magic missiles. So one last get out of jail free card there. At 4th level, we gain the action of Strength of Mind, gain proficiency in a saving throw of your choice as a bonus action, and personally for me, I would pick ability improvement to increase intelligence by 1, dexterity by 1, rounding out to a good all-around even numbers of 16 and 18, thus giving us +4 to dexterity, or +3 to dexterity, and a respectable +4 to intelligence, helping out our casting modifier too. At level 5, we gain additional side points of 5. The class passive I would personally choose here is Telepathic Subjugation, very in line with mind control and also dominating your opponent's will. With Broken Will, shatter a creature's will, force them to fall prone and do nothing for a turn. Very devastating too for a mere 2 side points. Psionic Grip, hold a humanoid enemy still, they can't move, act, or react. Attacks from within the 3 meters are always critical hits, and yeah, this is basically just hold person. This is also just a hold a creature with Psychic Grasp. Paralyze a creature, can't move or act. Attacks within 3 meters, always critical hits. And yes, also Psychic Domination. Make a humanoid fight alongside you. Every time the creature takes damage, it makes an intelligence saving throw against your domination. Allies can't be dominated. This last one here too. 7 side points might be a little expensive, but being able to control any enemy with this can be a very much a boon on the battlefield. We also gain race-specific abilities and features here too with Bestow Knowledge, set an ally on the path of inner discovery, allowing them to eventually become a Zerth, and also Revoke Knowledge from an enemy, Misty Step to teleport to an unoccupied space that you can see, and also Siphon Knowledge Tier, reclaim a knowledge tier when Revoke Knowledge consumes a tier of Teachings of Zerthamon. At level 6, we gain Avatar of Healing, project a soothing aura, causing nearby allies to regain 2 additional hit points from all sources of healing, pairing well with other healing spells, and also with healing features too. Can't remember off the top of my head, but there is an area of effect healing spell that could really get a little bit of a buff with that as well. We also gain Githzerai's Psionics, Telekinetic Trip, dealing 1 to 4 psychic damage, Psychic Assault that possibly knocks the target prone, Another useful feature there too. I always like the actions and spells that knock targets prone or hold them in place. Just essentially buying yourself some extra time on the battlefield. At level 7, we gain 6 additional side points. The Psychic Assault is what I would choose for class passives to fit in line with the character build and roleplay, with Psionic Blast dealing 1d8 psychic damage. Ego Whip, fill a creature with self-doubt, preventing it from taking actions other than disengage or hide, dealing 3d8 psychic damage. Its Insinuation, stimulate a creature's impulses, preventing them from taking actions except for melee attacks, 5d8 psychic damage. And yeah, all of these are very much situational, but also limiting enemies to what they can or cannot do. Psychic Blast, 8 to 64 psychic damage, unleash devastating psychic energy in a cone, just pure all-out damage. And Psychic Crush, warp and compress space around the targeted area, stunning any creatures for 1 turn and dealing 8 to 64 psychic damage. All incredibly insane amounts of power levels there, my friends. As for the race features, we gain Bestow Knowledge, level 2 enhancement, Grasp of Menyar Agith. Let me know, D&D aficionados, if I may have mispronounced that. Channel the psionic energy of Menyar Agith to open a small temporary rift to Limbo. Enemies within 15 meters are exposed to the plane's roiling and chaotic nature. They must succeed a strength saving throw or be pulled toward you. Very much in line with battlefield control and also, well, controlling others too. I kind of like this cantrip name here, Limbo Baby. Phase yourself and a target to your home plane of Limbo, subjugating their mind to the effects of violent and tumultuous plane. The fact that it's a cantrip, that is a very insane cantrip at this level. Alright, at level 8, we gain Psionic Strike. After hitting an enemy with a weapon attack, you deal an additional 1 to 8 psychic damage. For the feat here, this is very specific and situational, but Shield Master is what I would personally go with. Gain a +2 bonus to dexterity saving throws while wielding a shield. If a spell forces you to make a dex saving throw, you can use a reaction to shield yourself and diminish the effect's damage. On a failed saving throw, you only take half damage. On a successful saving throw, you don't take any damage whatsoever. So, yet again, playing into the fact that not only are you a capable battle mage yourself, but you're a very capable anti-mage as well. So should spellcasters target you, then you have the chance to negate their spell effects on you in the first place. At level 9, we gain 7 additional side points. The class passive I would personally choose here is Mantle of Command, bearing in mind that this will be more so team-driven spells and also will be more in line in supporting the entire party and not just yourself. With coordinated movement, signal up to 5 allies to move as a unit, increasing all of their speed by 4.5 meters. Commander Sight, reveal a creature's weaknesses, giving advantage to attack rolls against it. Very good at honing down and locking down boss enemies. Command to Strike, direct an ally to strike a foe. They can make an additional weapon attack on their next turn. Strategic Mind, exert an aura of trust and command. Unite your allies to move as a cohesive unit. Nearby allies can dash or disengage as a bonus action or add 1d4 to each attack roll during their turn. And also Overwhelming Attack, direct up to 5 allies to strike a foe, make additional weapon attack on their next turn. So this one here, even though at a costly 7 side points, the fact that you're causing pretty much your entire party to gain extra bonus actions, and yeah, again with the action economy there, that's just overall increasing the damage output for everyone across the board. We also gain a level 3 enhancement spell of Bestow Knowledge for our Get Zerai feature. Path of Zertham on 3, dealing 6 to 15 psychic damage. Launch 3 psychic bursts, each dealing 2 to 5 psychic damage. Never miss the target. This is essentially Get Zerai's magic missile at this point. Now, at this level 2, it's only like 6 to 15 damage, but hey, it's damage that will never miss. At level 10, we gain Consumptive Power, tap into your own life force, regaining 7 psi points but reducing your max hit points by 14. So it's a little bit of a risk reward. So do you want to get more psi points to cast more psychic spells, but then also take away some of your health? Is it really worth it for you? And also for the gain cantrip here, I would personally pick Mind Thrust of 3 to 30 psychic damage, striking directly at a creature's mind. Just pure all-out damage at this point. At level 11, we gain Psionic Mastery, allowing us to cast Psionic Discipline as a free action. This is very huge at this level too, and without spending any psi points. Again, helping out with action economy, but then also saving up our psi points for when we really need them the most. Expends a Psionic Mastery charge and can only be used once per turn, but hey, once per turn, very powerful and very generous too. At level 12, the class passive I would choose here is Intellect Fortress with Psychic Backlash. As a reaction, impose disadvantage on all attacks against you. If it still hits you, deal 2 to 20 psychic damage back at the attacker. Psychic Parry. As a reaction, when you make Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma saving throws, gain a +1 bonus to that saving throw per psi point spent. And Psychic Redoubt. Give nearby allies resistance to psychic damage and advantage on Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma saving throws until long rests. I really like Psychic Backlash too. It's kind of like a damage reflection, almost similar to what was in Elder Scrolls Oblivion with reflect damage. And also, for feat, I would personally pick ability improvement, rounding out our intelligence to the maximum of 20, and really just leaning in and honing in on the psychic and caster based damage build. As for the specific gear and quote-unquote weapon choice, there are going to be odd choices, but at the same time, it's mainly to fit with the roleplay of being a battle mage and a frontline spellcaster too. With Circlet of Psionic Revenge, this is essentially damage reflection. When you succeed a saving throw, the foe that caused the throw takes 1 to 4 psychic damage, and also I believe the mod author made it so that you still gain Githyanki features too. Githyanki / Githzerai also gain a +1 bonus to Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma saving throws. Cloak of Displacement is going to be another get out of jail free or protection feature with displacement at the beginning of the wearer's turn. Cloak activates, granting enemies disadvantage on attack rolls that target the wearer. Effect lasts until the wearer takes damage. And also the main armor piece here, Psionic Ward Armor, which gives us a 15 armor class Psionic Ward if the item detects that the wearer is a Gith, resistance to psychic damage, thus making us even more of an anti-magic tank. Whenever the wearer succeeds on a saving throw against a spell, regain 1 to 4 hit points, so it's a nice minor reward there too, even if it's just a small amount of health regain. Now, Deadly Channeler Gloves. This is where it gets important and literally critical. Magically augment your ability to annihilate your foes with powerful attacks. The number you need to roll a critical hit while attacking is reduced by 2, which it's going to be able to stack as well. And the fact that a lot of our ranged psionic attacks have a higher chance of scoring a critical hit, it's very much powerful there too. Also, Briskwind Boots will complement Deadly Channeler Gloves. After scoring a critical hit or killing a hostile creature, movement speed is restored to maximum, providing us even more mobility on the battlefield to close the distance or run away from stronger enemies too. As for our necklace and rings here, Search and Subjugation Amulet, Paralyzing Critical. Once per long rest, when scoring a critical hit on a humanoid, the wearer can paralyze the target for a total of 2 turns. And even though it is for a long rest, the fact that critical hits will gain us both movement and also stopping our opponent in line of us. It's these three pair hand in hand together. Ring of Blink is also useful here too, with being able to literally blink off the battlefield and also retreat or reposition ourselves for more casting. Also, for the second ring, Confusion, that's just another useful battlefield control spell. Confuse a group of creatures, causing them to attack at random, wander around aimlessly, and occasionally skip turns in stupor for a total of a whopping 10 turns too. Basically, you just cause mass mayhem and also blink out of existence to cause even more mass mayhem. Now, as for the shield piece here, Adamantine Shield, when a melee attack misses you, the attacker is sent reeling for 2 turns, and with reeling, recovering from a terrible blow or hitting a strong metal, -1 penalty to attack rolls every turn remaining. We also get Shield Bash. When a foe hits you with a melee attack, use your reaction to knock it prone unless they succeed that Dex saving throw. And also, another very key feature here, can't be critical hit by enemies. And also, for our quote-unquote weapon choice, Staff of Interruption, mainly I'm getting this for the counter spell, basically playing more into the fact of us being a battle mage, but also having some anti-magic up our sleeves too. So we essentially have nearly all our bases covered when it comes to the build, plus the equipment to complement the features of the level ups too. Alright friends, that has been Order of the Avatar Psionic Caster build for the Mystic class. There are a whole bunch of other subclasses that I would love to cover in separate videos, and also using separate videos to multi-class the Order of the Avatar with modded classes or base game classes too. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with my choices in terms of level up features or specific gear, and also how would you build this character differently too. No worries on the criticism. I do welcome it, and I genuinely would love to hear how you would create your personal Mystic characters. And also, if you are a new viewer, thank you so much for watching this far into the video. For returning viewers, thank you as always for taking the time to listen to the in-depth detail on my character builds. And also, there will be more in the future too, covering the other Mystic subclasses, plus also we'll be uploading more Warhammer lore and narrative campaigns too in the future. And I would love to have you all join us on those too, friends. Until then, we'll save you a seat for the next adventure. Take care and farewell.